Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carme, and today I'm going to be sharing about my ayahuasca journey that I had back in 2018. This is a part of my journey that I've kept mainly to myself because it is so personal and it is a mystical experience that can sometimes be really hard to put into words. But I felt deep in my heart the call from my soul, from Mama Aya, to share my experience now, which is kind of insane and wild because I feel and I've learned that the reason why we do not share these experiences, especially when they're in their infancy, especially right after we've had them, is because there's so much we don't know about where we're going, what door it just opened, what path, what medicine has just been unlocked within us. And I feel that deeply within myself that I, at the time, had no idea what was going on when I had my journey and could not understand it. And this is what I learned is that I wasn't meant to understand it. So here I am 6 years later and I'm fully able to understand what happened that night. And so that's what I'm going to be doing with you all today. Is I'm going to be taking you back in time to that night in August 2018. So it's really interesting to me because it's literally 6 years later that I want to talk about this on the exact same month. So, that's really yeah, like an alignment maybe. But yeah, I want to share about this experience so that you all know how powerful it is when women return to plant medicine, how powerful it is when women return to Mother Earth. And for those of you who've been rocking with me now, this is my fifth video, so I'm new to the tubes. But you know that I was diagnosed with 5 fibroids in 2023, and two fibroids came out in 2024, and the other three were greatly reduced to under 2 centimeters. And and now I have a whole womb cosmology movement where I'm supporting other women in reclaiming their wombs and healing their divine feminine within themselves. And I can now look back at that one experience and see how that was the pop off point. That was the inception point. That was the initiation point to just burped. Usually, when I burp, it's the truth from my body. That was the inception point of what was to come. So let's get started. So I want to take y'all back in time to 2018. Um, I had just quit corporate America and was really ready to start a whole new life, and I was ready to go on the path less traveled, go into the unknown, follow my heart. And that was a really scary decision, but it was a must. It was like a clear, concrete decision in my spirit that that was the next step for me in my journey. And so I quit my job. And at the time, I was working at a company, and a client of mine worked at a nonprofit, and she had invited me to this event in New York City. And that organization was called Pachamama Alliance. Now, if you don't know about Pachamama Alliance, they're such a beautiful, sweet organization run by Lynn Twist, and they go into the Amazon in Ecuador, and they support saving the rainforest from oil diggers, oil drillers, and basically deforestation and displacing the Amazonian people from their land. And I love their mission, but I'd quit my job and I was like, I don't know if I still want to be like, dealing with a client when I'm not there anymore. But they kept reaching out to me and said, go to this event, go to this event. So I went to this event on the Upper East Side of New York, and I met Lynn Twist, and she said at this fundraiser, you should really come to the Amazon with us. And I basically laughed because I was like, there's no way I'm going to spend thousands of dollars to go into the Amazon right now. I have no money and I'm not making any money. And that's just like a really irresponsible decision. So I said no. And, but even though I said no, they had somebody call me, and I spoke with this individual a few times. And at first, she invited me on a on a tour that I wasn't really that interested in, and I blatantly told her, if I'm going to go to Ecuador to the Amazon jungle, I it's because I want to partake and journey with Grandma Ayahuasca. And she's like, well, you know what? We actually have a tour coming up, and you should do it. I told her I needed to think about it, but what ended up happening was, so they say that if you are gonna journey with Grandma Aya, that she needs to call you. Like you need to be called. You don't just be like, "Oh, I want to go do Grandma Aya today." Like that's not how it works. It is an invitation, and now I truly know what that means because that's how it happened for me. Like the way that spirit was moving through these women to pushing me into to make this decision, I think was really interesting. But aside from that, I was also having a lot of dreams. So the dreams started coming in, y'all. And that is how my body speaks to me. And that is how spirit speaks to me, is through my dreams. So I ended up having all these dreams. And it was essentially dreams of me going to the Amazon. And I was like, this is crazy. And at that point, I knew that I couldn't use logic in this decision making. I'm going to say that again. I realized I couldn't use logic in this decision making. So logic would have been no income, don't go. Intuition would have been like feel the call, go. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to my intuition. I'm going to find this money and I'm going to go. And I said yes. And that altered forever the course of my life. I don't think that I would be who I am, where I am, if it weren't for that experience. And I realize now, oh my God, I know I was gonna get emotional in this video, that, when we say yes to these, to our intuitive voice, we're saying yes to ourself. We're saying yes to our higher purpose. We're saying yes to our destiny. We're saying yes to our calling. And it is emotional because it's deep unconditional love, like following your intuition is deep unconditional love. And so I went, and it was the most beautiful experience of my entire life. So just being with the Amazonian people was extremely moving. Um, but also just being in that dense of rainforest, like the energy in there is unmatched. It's pure Mother Earth, pure crystalline energy. It's earth, it's water, it's trees, it's air, it's insect. It's like literally the rawest jungle you could possibly get. It's so primordial. It's so pure and untouched. I mean, your energy is just being cleared and cleansed just by being in that space. And so, um, the first time that we journeyed with the ayahuasca was with two shaman brothers. One is named Manari, who is very popular. You can Google him. You can see him everywhere. He's a big advocate for his community, for the rainforest, and he's really amazing. And so I did my first night with them, and that was. Now I feel comfortable talking about it because it's done and it's years past, but it was extremely intense for me. Okay. And I've heard some other girls, I was watching some other ayahuasca videos if we're making my own, and some girls like, oh, it's so gentle. I'm like, no, ayahuasca mama was not gentle with me. But what I've learned is that she meets you where you are. She meets you exactly at your energetic vibration. And so I was going into this thinking like, oh, I want to have all these signs. People said that they always saw things. They had these very 5D experiences. And that was completely opposite of my experience. My experience was all physical and not even really purging from my mouth. It was like the other end. And I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, it was extremely painful, and I lost track of time. I was not in time. I was out of time. I was in another time. And I was purging heavy, heavy, and I felt Mama Aya's hands in my uterus. She was in my uterus, y'all, the whole time. And I think I was in that ayahuasca experience for like 6 to 7 hours. Okay. So she meets you where you are. So if you have a lot of density, and when I say density, I mean heaviness, that could be cancers, that could be tumors, that could be just dense emotions, if blocks, stuck energy, whatever it is, even if it hasn't manifested physically, if it's there energetically, she's going to meet you there. And so there was a lot of density that I was unconscious of and unaware of in my womb. And at the time, I did not know I had fibroids in 2018 and did not find out till 2023. So when she was in my womb, I felt like she was wringing out my fallopian tubes, my ovaries. I felt hands literally around my fallopian tubes, around my ovaries. I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like I'm in so much pain. I thought it was like being exercised, y'all. Like I'm not even playing. Like I took off all my clothes. I was laying on the ground. I was like extreme. I was in a whole other space. It felt like I was moving through multiple ancestral lives. I mean, it was really intense and it was not fun. And at times I was just like, why did you do this to yourself? Like, this was awful. Like, this was the worst decision of your life. So I basically, um, yeah, I went through that all night and I was helped greatly by the women participants and by the group leaders, the female group leaders, and she, just so helpful, so loving, so kind, so present. I felt really held and cared for in that whole journey, and but also very like, when is this going to end? This is wild. And now, obviously, fast forward, I realized she wasn't wringing out. Mama Ayahuasca wasn't wringing out my ovaries. She wasn't wringing out my fallopian tubes. She was wringing out the fibroids. So I don't know how many fibroids I had in 2018, right? We found five in 2023, but I think that I might have been shrinking my fibroids since that inception point. Okay, because my belly used to be so big, and if you've had fibroids, you know that we get a protruded abdomen from all the inflammation and mucus and waste in the uterus. Okay, so I think I might have had more, to be honest with y'all. And I think they were really big because now my belly has gone down and I don't have that, and I'm down too. So, um, but yeah, she was wringing out the fibroids. Isn't that wild? Isn't that insane? Like she immediately went to the target zone. She immediately knew exactly what I needed. She immediately knew exactly what needed to be healed inside of me. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So once I was came out of that experience, I passed out. Next day, woke up and I felt like I was reborn. I didn't know how. I didn't know what happened. I'm completely unconscious. I'm completely unaware of why she's in my womb. I felt like I was kind of robbed of my experience. I was like, why didn't I see the crocodile man that everybody talks about in their journeys? No, I was just like, what was the point of that? And so and I'm being honest, that actually was my feeling, and that's real. It's a human real feeling of like, well, I didn't see what happened. What was the point of that? And so I sat down by the river and and I just asked spirit. I asked nature. I was like, did something happen? And y'all, the most magical thing happened after I asked that question. A beautiful monarch butterfly came down. I saw it flying around in front of me, came down and sat right on my knee. And I was like, and then it flew away. And then it came back and went to the other knee. And then it flew away. And then it came on my side 3 times. Three is my number. I'm born August 3rd. So three is my number. And I knew at that point she heard me. I, she knows. Yes, something absolutely did happen. And I felt reborn. I felt like my whole body, my senses, I felt for the first time clean and clear, and it's a feeling that you can't really describe with words, but I really felt like earth, the roots, the sky, the air, the trees, the plants, the flowers were all in me, all in my body. I was one with all of these with all of nature. I felt nature moving in and through me. I felt inextricably linked to all of life. I felt like I could feel the plants breathing. I could feel the birds. I could sense them differently. Like it felt, it's a feeling like this one vlogger said about ayahuasca that you want to bottle up. You want to put in a bottle and save for yourself forever. You want to always feel that. And so yeah, that was my experience. And so what I've learned is that you really need to be called to do and to journey with Mama Aya. It is not something that you just wake up and say you want to do. Um, and that, of course, my spirit guided me to Grandma Aya because she is the grandmother. She is the divine feminine. She is like Mother Earth is the original mother. She is the original ancestor. If you want to heal your womb, go to the womb of the earth. And what I want women to know about this is we need to reclaim Mother Earth. We need to reclaim plant medicine. There's a reason why the patriarchy and the colonizers ripped plant medicine and women's connection to plants from us. We were the medicine women of our communities, of our lineages in Europe, in Africa, in Asia. We were, the women were. There's a reason why the Catholic priests burned women all over Europe who were there, who were specifically the medicine women. We have been literally our plant knowledge and inheritance has been stripped from our psyches. And we need to reclaim her if we want to heal our wombs, if we want to heal the earth, if we want to heal ourselves. We need to remember how to heal ourselves. And so that is my journey. That is my experience. Something else I learned is that when you journey with Mama Aya, she is with you forever, forever, forever. She does not leave you. You are forever connected with her, and she is forever guiding your path. She is for just burped again. That's true. She is forever leading your way, and that is beautiful. You know now that you are always connected to this supreme knowing, and yeah, so I want to thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening to my story. And, I hope that I get to see you again. I'm growing this YouTube. I want to spread the womb gospel to everyone. So if you're interested in sharing and subscribing and staying here, liking, commenting, I really appreciate it. I'd love to have you be a part of this growing community. So yeah, thank you so much. And I hope to see you around here sometime soon.